but I haven't seen like a soft-spoken doctor get besieged by the lion very often.
I would let Mr. Elba rummage around in my underwear.
This podcast is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed.
Spoiler warning for Beast and Jaws.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share and subscribe.
Follow the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. Follow Daniel at DStarSick on Twitter.
Ryan is at Darth Damio on the Bluebird app. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for links to our Facebook group and Discord server.
Enjoy our horror gaming content on YouTube. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com.
Support the show at patreon.com/The Horror of Babylon. Finally, you can let your friends know that The Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible and all other major podcast apps. Stay scary.
Welcome to The Horror of Babylon, where we are discussing Beast. I'm Ryan, and with me as always is Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
So this is both of our first time watching this movie.
Yep.
We just happened to be able to free on one night and didn't need to record, went out and saw a movie. Now, hey, we're going to do a bonus episode on it.
We chose this over Bodies, 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 which is another horror movie that came out recently. Wasn't there another horror movie that just came out?
The Invitation.
The Invitation. But this one had a lion and Idris Elba, so it won.
Automatically wins.
The vampire's a pure myth, superstition. I may be able to bring you proof that the superstition of yesterday can become the scientific reality of today.
Okay, so jumping into background, this was directed by Baltazar Kormaker. Sorry, it's an Icelandic name.
Icelandic?
Yes. He's an Icelandic director.
Wow.
Some of his other films are Two Guns, Everest, Trapped, a lot of like action, adventure, thriller kind of stuff. Written by Ryan Engel, who also wrote Rampage. Yes, the film based on the video game series.
I still haven't seen that one.
I haven't either.
Which is weird because I love kaiju movies.
Yeah. Also wrote The Commuter, and it was based on a story idea from Jamie Primack Sullivan. It was filmed in South Africa over a period of 10 weeks in the summer of 2021.
You know what I bet more than anything is Idris Elba wanted to take a vacation.
Let's make a movie out.
He Adam Sandler'd it.
Yeah. It had a $36 million budget, and at the time...
Wow.
At the time of recording, it has made $41 million, and that... It's been out for about 3 weeks, so it'll make more. But I mean,
that's sort of unfortunate.
Yeah, it's not,
because movies these days need to make about double their budget in order to break even.
Yeah, generally. So not a complete and total bomb, but definitely not what you want. Granted, I can't imagine they expected this thing to be like a total blockbuster either.
I mean, I don't pay attention as much to marketing as I used to. I used to be really into it. I'm still kind of into it for some superhero movies, just to like compare and contrast. This was barely on my radar.
I only knew of it because I saw the trailer before Thor: God and Thunder.
I saw the trailer.
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder, and I saw it once on a YouTube video.
Yeah, and as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, oh my god, I need to see this.
Yeah.
Something we need to do. Like, I love creature features. I love like animal attack videos. I love Idris Elba.
And you know what's weird, and I will get into this, is the trailer made it seem more like Idris Elba was going to be like a Rambo-type character.
Yeah.
And he was
really
not.
He's really not, which I liked.
Yeah, it made it seem like he was going to be, I don't know the character's name, the guy from Taken.
Liam Neeson, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the character's name.
Oh, I don't know. Listen, Lion, you took my daughters,
yeah.
And I have a very particular set of skills.
Towards the end, it almost got into that, but then it really didn't.
Yeah, he really only has like one badass moment, which is the climax of the movie.
Yeah. And I was honestly expecting that to be the whole movie. And I was kind of pleasantly surprised it wasn't, so.
It has had mixed critical reviews, which I think is what you would expect for this kind of movie.
Yeah.
So, talking about structure and themes, I do want to talk about horror movies that take place in Africa.
I can only think of one other, and I can't even remember its name. It's about 2 lions that are eating people.
Ernest Goes to Africa?
No. Hold on. It's based off of a real-life incident where these lions were eating the Ghost in the Darkness.
The Ghost in the Darkness.
Okay. And it's about 2 Savao lions that's not South African. Like male lions there don't have manes. They're a completely different species.
Mm-hmm.
They get in the movie, like one of the big like gripes people have is they gave the lions manes, and Savao lions don't have manes.
Mm-hmm.
It's based off of a real life incident where the dude who like was the British colonizer, the British colonizer was tasked with it. The real life equivalent of them claimed that the lions killed over 100 people. And then, like, modern scientists say, oh, it's actually probably closer to 30. Still a lot of people.
Okay, so let's just talk about African culture in this movie. One of the things that stuck out to me was early in the movie. So if you haven't seen it, Idris Elba is a widowed dad. He takes his 2 daughters to Africa on vacation to hang out with a mutual friend of his and his dead wife.
Mm-hmm.
They go on the visit. There's a lion whose entire pride was killed by poachers, and he survived, and the lion is now killing people, and the lion attacks them.
Yeah.
And that's basically the movie. But there's this point in the movie where they visit a small African village, and there's a line in it where their friend who lives in Africa says, "This is not a tourist village. This is a real place where people live and work. They are friendly, but don't take pictures without asking." And I was like, wow, that's like something you don't really hear when you're talking about, you know, I guess indigenous people, like interacting with people who aren't online. I'm not really sure how to phrase it, but
just don't be rude to people when they're in their homes.
Yeah, I mean it's that simple.
But a lot of times, especially Westerners of all races and creeds, vacationers in general, really, just think that they could take pictures of anything and everyone.
Yeah.
A little known pet peeve of mine. I don't know if you're aware of this. I hate being recorded. Like, if someone just puts a camera on my face, I instantly get irritated. And my boss did it to me once, or one of my bosses. She got fired before I did, so.
So, I listened to a Magic the Gathering podcast.
Yeah.
And one of the hosts is a person who works for a travel company and sets up African safaris for a living.
Fun.
So I've actually heard a lot about African safaris via that Magic the Gathering podcast. And so, as part of safaris, instead of, you know, in addition to just going out and looking at animals, they have like all these like traditional African villages that you can go to. But these are villages that are like either built for or have their revenue around tourists, where the people there are expecting tourists to come. They interact with tourists regularly. They're okay with having their picture taken. You know, maybe they do lots of the same stuff that people in a regular village do, but their whole mindset is different because that's how they make their money, is from tourists coming as a part of a safari.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with a lot of Africa. Like, people go to these trips to Africa. We're going to see the real Africa, but what you really see is you see animals in a reserve or a safari park.
You see a sanitized Africa.
Yeah. Poaching is a huge theme in this movie. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know Daniel and I are both big animal people.
Mm-hmm. I love cats.
I love cats of all sizes and species. What are your thoughts on poachers?
On poachers?
Yeah, just in general.
And poachers not hunting, right?
Yeah, no, because
okay.
Illegal hunting.
Because I have complicated thoughts when it comes to hunting. My opinion always is don't hunt an animal to extinction.
Mm-hmm.
And poachers tend to do that because they don't give a fuck.
Most of the animals that they target are endangered animals.
Yeah, because they want to sell the rare pieces.
Most at least hunting in our area is regulated by the state. Just taking deer hunting as an example, every year the Department of Wildlife, the people who do this, they go out there and
one of them departments.
They measure the deer population, and they
say you can have this many licenses.
Yeah, you can kill this many deer this year, and it's based on the population, what the food supply looks like, what the likelihood is of animals starving if hunters.
I'm not a big fan of poachers, but I'm also not a fan of the underground market economies that drive them.
Yeah.
Because there has to be a market for it or they wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
And I don't know who that market is because it's super unpopular, at least in the mainstream.
Yeah, I mean...
people don't buy ivory anymore.
I think the people who buy ivory, they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, for all I know, you're an ivory buyer, and you have to say this so you don't get on a list.
I'm already on too many lists. Yeah. I don't need to be on an ivory list.
Yeah, poachers are pretty much... pretty high on my list of real-world villains. But I also... as I'm getting older, I try to look at two sides of things. And one thing that I've looked at is some of these people...
This is the only way they can make a living.
Yeah, I mean, these are people who don't have jobs, who can't get jobs. They live in like an agricultural village system where, they're losing land to development in Africa, and they have to find a way to support their families, and one of the things they turn to is poaching.
This is sort of a really weird side tangent. Mm-hmm. You remember Skyrim, right?
Oh, just a little bit.
Yeah. You can find poachers in that game, and they all have the same line. Oh, the deer won't notice one less deer. But if you got 1,000 people saying that,
I'm not defending or justifying poachers in any way.
It's just kind of that's why I prefaced saying like I'm more irritated with the underground markets.
Yeah,
because that's what drives.
Try and put yourself on both sides of everything.
I work in forensic psychology, so I get to be around people who have some pretty heinous histories all the time. So
yeah,
that's why I'm on vacation this week.
So this is also a revenge story, because like I said...
It's Jaws the Revenge.
It's Jaws the Revenge, my least favorite Jaws movie.
That's your least favorite Jaws movie?
Okay, so I've only seen the sequels one time each. Jaws, I have seen, I don't know, countless times.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Are we going to see it in theaters when it re-releases?
That's tomorrow.
Oh, well, never mind.
It's this weekend. But the sequels, I've only seen one time each, so I don't really have like a hierarchy of them in my head.
Yeah.
If we do the book at some point, then maybe we'll watch all the movies.
But, yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to do the Meg first, so...
Sure. If that's what you want to
do. There's actually... The dude who wrote Jaws, I don't know his name. He wrote another shark book, but it's like a mutant shark.
His name is similar to the guy who wrote The Exorcist.
God, I should know that name. Something Bradley.
Well, the Exorcist guy is William Peter Blatty.
Blatty.
And then the author of Jaws is
Steven Spielberg.
Peter Benchley.
I like that Steven Spielberg was the first name on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, we might do Jaws eventually. I tell you what, though, I really struggled with that book. The adultery in that book made me literally sick to my stomach. Like, I felt like I was going to throw up at several parts in that book.
Well, worse than Cujo's?
Way worse. The thing about Cujo is you see that affair at the end of it with...
Oh, okay. So it's like...
This, you see the initial attraction, and then the build-up, and then the event.
Okay. I'm there now. I see what you're saying.
But then he gets eaten by a shark. So that was great.
That is great.
Spoilers for the Jaws novel.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Let's talk about characters. So Idris Elba plays Dr. Nate Samuels.
Not what I was expecting at all.
Not at all.
I was literally expecting him to be like an ex-badass, like he used to live in the Safari Zone or something.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting to. I mean, the trailer shows him punching the lion, which does happen.
Yeah, it does happen.
But it's not...
It's like a final act of desperation.
Yeah, it's not like a badass power move. Like, I'm going to go out there and punch a lion.
I was really expecting Taken, but with a lion.
Yeah. Me too. I was expecting like I'm the total badass. I go out in the woods without a shirt and I fight grizzly bears and this kind of bullshit.
And instead, he spends most of his movie trying to sew people back together.
Yeah, he's a doctor, as I say. He's a medical doctor. He's very normal. He's a very average guy. He gets emasculated by his daughters, like Daniel said earlier.
Yeah.
He has a hard time communicating and relating to his daughters. His wife...
I spoke to a teenager once. It seemed hard.
His wife passed away from cancer while they were separated, and understandably his daughters are kind of halfway blame him for, not being there, which he wasn't. So
you promised her she would get better.
One of the things that struck me about this movie is how they make you care about these characters in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, it was good.
You get a little bit of like the first 15-20 minutes you get a little bit of background about your four main characters, and then you're instant, at least I was instantly invested, and I'm like, oh, and now bad things happen.
I thought it was funny. Not in a bad way, just like it was realistic might not be the right word, but it was relatable.
Yeah. Okay, so the daughters are... Oh, actually, let's talk about Uncle Martin. Martin Battles, the anti-poacher, played by Sharlto Copley, who was also in Maleficent, Old Boy, and District 9.
I had to look up if anti-poachers were a thing.
They are, right?
Yeah.
Martin, just like the ultimate cool guy uncle. I mean, he was
love his accent.
He was what I thought
Idris Elba was
going to be. Yeah.
And I thought, like, when I saw the trailer, because they show Martin, I thought Martin was going to be kind of similar to Idris Elba, but he was still living in it, and Idris Elba was going to have to pull back that, like, safari ranger sort of stuff that he used to do. Mm-hmm. And
like they used to be rangers on a safari when they were young, and he decided to leave and start a family, and now he's coming back to the safari.
That's what I thought the movie was going to be.
I think what we got was better.
I did think it was better.
Though I would watch that movie.
I would watch the movie. Yeah, I just feel like I've seen that movie in a 1,000 different ways, but I haven't seen like a soft-spoken doctor get besieged by the lion very often.
Real quick side tangent. When I say Idris Elba, what are the first three things that come to mind?
Pacific Rim.
Oh, I forgot he was in that.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I forgot he was in that too.
And James Bond, because he's my second cast for it.
We had very different answers.
Yeah.
Mine were The Office, Star Trek, and The Gunslinger, The Dark Tower.
Oh, okay. I forgot he was in that. I haven't watched The Dark Tower. I remember him being advertised in it.
He's not bad, but it's with the exception of The Lawnmower Man, I think it's possibly the worst Stephen King adaptation of all time.
That's pretty bad because there's some bad ones.
But
is it worse than Phantoms? Maybe. Wow.
I think it's more entertaining than Phantoms, but Phantoms is a better adaptation of the novel.
Okay.
The Dark Tower is a worse adaptation of the source material than Phantoms is.
I can't wait till we find a movie that we both agree on is worse than Phantoms.
I can't wait till we find a movie that one of us thinks is worse than... Okay, so the daughters, the characters are Mare, short for Meredith, and Nora Samuels. They're played by Ayanna Haley and Leah Jeffries. Leah Jeffries famously is going to play Annabeth in the Disney Plus adaptation of Percy Jackson. I thought they had great chemistry.
Yeah.
I really believe they were sisters.
Yeah. No, they acted like sisters. I had 5 of them, so I should know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
I had 0 of them.
Yeah. 4 stepsisters, 1 adopted sister.
That's a whole lot of those.
Yeah.
Just shave off a couple.
Yeah.
Maybe one pre-show, I'll make you do a tier list of your sisters.
I could do a tier list of my siblings.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
Dustin is S tier.
Yeah, probably.
No shade to everybody. I love everybody I've met. But yeah, I thought both the sisters were great. One of my favorite moments is when the younger one stabs the lion with the trank dart.
Oh yeah, that was another one of those moments where I was just like, I was still half expecting like Idris Elba to just be like Idris Elba badass.
Yeah.
And he just was trying his best. Which
and failing, but
which
I mean,
I
he
enjoy.
didn't die, so he didn't.
yeah,
fail.
to me that's a lot more human. It was literally everyone trying their best.
Yeah, it's just everybody trying to not die.
Yeah.
Before we jump into scary shit, or this kind of crosses characters and scary shit.
Mm-hmm.
So going into this movie, I was pretty convinced. I think this is going to have a happy ending. I think both the girls are definitely going to live.
Mm-hmm.
I would believe all 4 of them living. I would believe 3 of them living, but I was pretty convinced that at least the 2 girls were going to live and we're going to have some kind of happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think, like, going into it and watching the first part of it?
I expected all 3 of them to live. I knew that Martin was gonna die. I was like, okay, he's the white friend.
Yeah, he was definitely most likely to die.
I thought there was like maybe a 10% chance they killed Idris Elba, but I thought the chances were pretty low.
I think I would have liked that, but honestly, I wouldn't have changed how it ended up working out. Like, not every horror thriller movie has to have a super dour ending.
Yeah. And you don't have it listed under characters. What did you think of the lion?
So, yeah, that's why I had it at the top of scary shit.
For the transition?
Yeah, because that kind of branches the 2.
Kill you all! I'll drive you crazy, and I'll kill you all on every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
The lion... So, story-wise, I thought it was great. The lion is the one survivor of a pride that was murdered by poachers, decides to take it out on humanity, regardless of just race, color, creed, gender. Like, I'm killing everybody that walks on 2 legs.
I liked it for the most part. My one sort of, I guess this is like, it's a very minor gripe, is they sort of portray it as like this super lion. Like, it's like rushing and is killing like 6 dudes who all have automatic weapons.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no reason this lion should be able to do this much more than any other lion when like they literally had like AK-47s.
Maybe in like a single situation where it's cornered and it has adrenaline.
Yeah.
But throughout the whole movie is less believable.
And but like I believed it could like take out a village because they don't have like, they might have like a rifle.
Yeah.
But it just comes in at night, kills somebody, comes back, kills another person.
What?
I even at the beginning when it got away and then it just killed like 2 of the poachers, I was like, no, that's fine. But
they didn't also like go like a Congo route where it's literally like a super lion.
yeah, it's not a super lion.
My pet peeve is apparently it has no sense of smell. Because Idris Elba gets to Assassin's Creed his way across the lion. He's literally inches away from the lion, and the lion can't tell he's there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this lion had its nose injured when it was young and has no sense of smell.
I was also thinking that, and the only like I'm sitting in the theater because sometimes I try to excuse stuff and other times I try to nitpick. I mean,
Yeah.
You've talked to me before.
Yeah.
The only explanation I could come up with is it just killed so many people that there was so much blood in the air.
I mean,
that's what I was smelling.
That's very, very possible.
But
it was around water, and I know that water can affect an animal's sense of smell.
if I was Idris Elba, I would have rather like wrestled the lion than go into that water.
Yeah, I have a thing about crocodiles and alligators.
Me too. It's one of my worst fears.
I would rather get mauled to death by a lion than have my legs snapped on by a crocodile and pulled underwater into a death roll.
Yeah.
We should do Lake Placid at some point.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. Okay, so then the lion, production-wise, the CG was okay. I liked that you never get like a really good look at it. They used it. It was running fast. It was in darkness. It was in shadow. Whenever they showed it in the daylight, it was like up on a rock against the sun, so it kind of had a black cover over it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't amazing.
It wasn't top tier.
But
It was better than something like you'd see in, you still haven't seen Prey yet.
No, but I will.
There's a big bear in it, there's a lion in it, and they look way worse, but it also has like a Hulu budget as opposed to
Yeah.
$36 million. That was way higher than I was expecting.
I wonder, like, how much of that $36 million was Idris Elba, though.
I wonder what his average pay is for a movie.
$8 million is his average pay per 2019, so maybe higher now. So, you know, that's almost like 25% of the whole budget right there.
Wow.
And there's no other, like, big actor in this movie.
Yeah.
Now, everybody did a good job, though. I was very happy with the acting. So,
I love Idris Elba. I would not pay anyone $8 million for anything. I think Hollywood people get paid way too much money.
yeah. I mean, you think about teachers and police officers and...
Then again, I also don't have much respect for like the studios and like how much money like executives make.
The system is messed up.
Yeah.
But
That's just a little side tangent. Sorry.
so the CG was fine. It was acceptable.
It wasn't The Lion King, but
What about the use of music and jump scares, and what did you think about
I think
that?
this movie did jump scares pretty decently.
There weren't like any big like musical stings to alert you to a jump scare coming.
And it was mostly just, I think the best jump scare in the movie was the freaking, I think it was the second dream sequence when he wakes up and he thinks everyone's drank the water, and he turns on the light and he sees one of his girls just like get jumped by a lion.
For me, that was good. There's one where they're panning around the inside of the car, and the lion is literally just sitting there by the window with his face up against the window.
That was pretty good too.
I was pretty happy. The music was very tame. It wasn't like very overproduced. I enjoyed it.
There's not that many memorable scores,
No.
but I also wasn't expecting like again something from Lion King.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Indiana Jones Star Wars level scores here. Well, something that surprised me, it was a little gorier and bloodier than I was expecting. The scene that really got me was the lady in the village who was killed and was lying there with a cow, and she had like the huge gash in her neck.
My favorite was right at the beginning when one of the poachers like wandered out of the brush mold, and then the other poacher ran and got trapped in the snare that they left for the lion.
Not too violent, not too gory, but more than I was expecting.
Yeah,
But it was PG-13, wasn't it?
I believe so.
No, it was R.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah. No, it was good. All right, cool.
It really didn't feel like an R.
No, it kind of felt like a border between PG-13
I think they
and R.
called that soft R.
Did they ever say fuck? I don't think so.
I think they said some curse words. I don't remember fuck.
No. It was very light on the cursing.
There's nothing sexual, and
No, but it didn't need...
I didn't need nothing like that. But I'm just like, what causes R's?
Yeah.
And there were some lacerations, but I'm like...
Yeah, that was really it. And then the last thing I had on scary shit was something that's always super scary for me in movies is when children are put in a dangerous situation.
I was watching you get nervous through that whole movie.
I wasn't really scared because, like I said, I did not believe that either of these girls was going to die. Like, no way.
Yeah, but I was sitting there were like, I hear the lecture you giving your children in my head.
I did get jumpy though, but that's part of why I like seeing horror movies in theaters.
If I could have gotten away with recording you and you not noticing, I would have done it.
I mean, there were only 4 of us in the theater.
Yeah. Yeah, but you would have noticed.
Yeah.
Kiss me, fat boy.
Okay, moving on to Kiss Me Fat Boy. They put Idris Elba in a movie, maybe paid him $8 million, and didn't make him take off his shirt once. What the fuck?
Yeah, bullshit. How am I supposed to fap to this?
Complete and utter bullshit.
Oh my god, are you Stephen King? No, I'm Dean Koontz. Oh.
All right, so let's go on to Kings and Koontz. What is your king?
Probably the poacher kills at the beginning, because I thought that dude getting trapped in that snare was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that was excellent. My King, maybe this is weird, but My King was actually one of the more heartwarming parts, is when Martin goes up to the pride of lion, like the good lions.
Yeah.
And he just gets his lion hug.
I did also enjoy how they killed the lion in this movie. Like, they set up, if another lion from a different pride comes by, it's their job to fucking murder it. And I was like, I hope they use that.
So, I was waiting for the entire movie for that tree they made a big deal of to come back around. I was like, okay, however they kill that lion, that tree is going to be involved somehow. And then I was like, oh, it was the other thing they mentioned at the beginning of the movie that I forgot about. That's better than a tree.
Yeah.
And then obviously they go and see the tree at the very end, but...
And I thought that was kind of just because usually it's like a bazooka, or with Jaws, it's like it grabs onto the tank. And
the tanks, they shoot the tanks, yeah.
And I was like, okay, they just used two other animals being other animals.
Yeah.
And this was after the quote-unquote super lion has been dodging AK-47 rounds and was literally set on fire.
But, I mean, these were two uninjured male lions that haven't been on a rampage for 2 days killing people, so...
That's how I justified it in my head, too.
Yeah,
was this lion has literally been just not sleeping for like 10 days on a murder spree.
Fought through a tranquilizer and stayed awake. It's like, I cannot go to sleep. I can't. The most unbelievable part to me, other than the smell, was when Martin literally blows him up.
Yeah, that I was like, that's where the movie got up to be a little bit too Hollywood.
Yeah,
but there's others. The rest of the stuff around it was fine. So
yeah, I mean, these are all nitpicks. Nothing in this movie ruined it for me. So your Kuntz wasn't any of the stuff we just mentioned.
My Kuntz was just, sometimes they portrayed the lion as like a super lion, and I think it worked best when it was just like
jumping out of the bushes and
like I could believe it took out two poachers in high grass, and then one of them didn't see it coming, and then it jumped the other one when it tried to run away. But then they had like 6 dudes with automatic weapons.
Yeah. Granted.
And then it was blown up, and it was fine.
But really...
And then it followed the how many miles after they drove in a truck.
Yeah. True. For me, I think like the best analog, or at least the first thing that came to mind for me, was the Lost World Jurassic Park. Mm-hmm. The scene with the raptors in the tall grass.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Kuntz is Idris Elba from Assassin's Creed, sneaking his way around the lion. I'm in a tree 12 inches above your head. I'm literally under a log you're standing on, and you don't know I'm there.
I did like that he just tossed a snake down on top of it.
That was pretty great.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. We laughed in that theater a lot more than I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean,
some of it. Ryan and I have this habit where we laugh at these moments that I don't think we're supposed to laugh at.
Like the Joker shooting Robert De Niro.
I always bring up the Joker. I'm like, I bet you that undercover cop is just watching me like a hawk right now.
The Joker was so funny. They started Batman villains on film being funny with the Adam West Batman, and then Chris Nolan made the villains too serious, but now they're back to being funny again with Joaquin Phoenix. It's great.
I'm not sure he was supposed to be, but Brian and I laughed at a lot of parts in that movie, and we do that a lot in some movies.
We should cover Joker before the second one comes out.
Are you going to be Joker or Harley Quinn when we go?
I don't know. Well,
yeah. I mean, I don't mind cross-dressing. That's a well-known fact about Daniel.
I don't either, but I also haven't done it since high school.
I'd have to work on... once I get a release date, I'll start working on my tum-tums.
Okay. Okay, ranking. Let me pull up our current list here.
Might be a little hard to rank for me.
Okay, here's my current list. Okay, I'm going to put this maybe a little higher than you would expect. I'm going to put this over some movies, and I'm going to preface this by saying, just because I put this over another movie doesn't necessarily mean that I think Beast is better than this movie,
You
but
just enjoyed it more.
I enjoyed it more.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to put it as my number 6, which puts it above the Call of Cthulhu and below The Mist.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, it not necessarily better than the Call of Cthulhu or Firestarter, but more enjoyable.
I like that Call Girl of Cthulhu is still higher.
Oh no. It's going to be a long time before I rank anything above Call Girl of Cthulhu.
This is also hard. I'm going to put it right below Call of Cthulhu.
Above it, 2017, and below the Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah. No, put it below it.
Okay.
Yeah, below.
The thing about it 2017 is there's a lot I don't like in that movie, but the high points are
The high points are so good. I can't justify putting Beast. I can justify putting it above Gotham by Gaslight, but not.
All right, homework. What African animal do you want stalking you? I'm answering first. My answer is Idris Elba.
I like your answer.
I would totally invite him in.
My answer is a hippo, and I would call it H cubed for a hungry hippo. That's what I would call the movie.
Okay, and our question for the listeners is the same. What African animal do you want stalking you, and how would you combat them? Or would you? In my case, I would not. For further reading, just some of my favorite creature feature animal attack movies: Deep Blue Sea, Lake Placid, Anaconda, Congo.
I love Anaconda. That movie is so trash, but I love it.
Yeah. You have any additions? Any giant bug movies?
I mean, there's Jaws.
Jaws and Jurassic Park. I kind of left off.
Those are like the big ones.
Yeah. I love. Oh, by the way, the one daughter was wearing a Jurassic Park shirt in the film, which I thought was a great nod.
Grizzly.
Yeah. I didn't see that.
Is decent. It's Jaws, but with a grizzly bear. It's almost the exact beats.
Good.
There's one about a giant boar. I can't remember the name of it.
Hog Wild.
I mean, that's a pretty good name. It might just be boar.
Razorback?
I think I'm thinking of boar.
Boar? Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks fun.
Yeah, it's fine. It's about a giant boar that kills people.
So, yeah, that's it. Thank you for joining us for this bonus episode. We went a little bit longer on this than I thought we were going to. Granted, we kind of went off on some tangents.
Yeah, they'll probably be edited out.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you very much for recording with me tonight, Daniel.
Always.
Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for our socials and stay scary.
Stay scary, everybody.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share and subscribe. Follow Daniel at DStarSick on Twitter. Follow Ryan at Darth Damio on the Bluebird app. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. And finally, you can let your friends know that The Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Podcast Addict, TuneIn and the iHeartRadio app. Stay scary.